Call tonight's meeting to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you will please remain standing for the invocation.
Father in heaven, we come to you tonight and are so grateful for you being the sovereign God, our Creator. We ask that you would help tonight as these folks meet, the mayor, the council, department heads, that you would help them to establish and maintain our city as a great place to live, work, worship, and play. May their decisions tonight be right, righteous, equitable. We thank you so much for your mercy that we celebrate this time of year in the coming of Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Mike, if you'll take the roll call, please.
Councilman Marcos. Councilman Blevins has asked to be excused. Councilman Schlatt.
Present.
Councilman Valeris.
Here.
Councilman Lloyd.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lally has asked to be excused. Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Schlack, seconded by Mr. Valerius. Any changes, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of December 14th?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius,
I'll support it.
supported by Councilman Marcos. Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We have a presentation this evening on the city audit.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council, for the time tonight. We did cover these deliverables with City Council and Mayor just in a brief study session just before this meeting that we did cover it in much more detail. Thank you. There are three different deliverables that we did discuss: the financial statements, the audit of federal awards, which is required for expenditures over $750,000, and then we also issued a report to mayor and the members of City Council. So again, we did just cover these in detail as part of a study session that just wrapped up just a short time ago. I do want to thank Amanda and Mark and the rest of the team. We are out here for several weeks, and that doesn't end after those couple of weeks that we're out here. So it's a heavy lift, and we do appreciate it. Our main deliverable to you as our auditors is the audit opinion, which is within the financial statements themselves. We're happy to provide an unmodified opinion on the financial statements for the City of Allen Park for the year ended June 30, 2021, which means that the financial statements are in accordance with all the rules and regulations. So we're happy to provide that, but it's definitely something that's earned and not just given out. A couple of different other highlights I wanted to comment on just briefly. As part of the audit of federal awards, which focuses on compliance audit or related to the federal expenditures, in the current year, the city did receive about $1.2 million in federal grants. $1.1 million of those is related to COVID-related grants that is typically non-recurring in nature. And as a result of that, we did have to do the single audit, and we're happy to report that there were no findings as part of that single audit. And as a result of that $1.1 million, it also resulted in a slight increase to the city's general fund balance, which did increase by about $390,000 for the year ended June 30th, 2021. A couple of other comments that I wanted to just make just briefly here. Specifically related to the city's legacy costs, both the pension and retiree healthcare legacy costs are items that gets a lot of attention nowadays. Public Act 202 was implemented by the state of Michigan a couple years ago to kind of monitor those costs. From from the state standpoint, a corrective action plan is required if the pension system is 60% funded or less, and for OPEB would be 40% or less. If for the city's pension system at December 31st of 2020, which is what the year end that it's actually reported at, the pension system was at 86% funded, so it's in a well-funded status, and the OPEB plan is at 9% funded. So although it is below the 40%, so there is a corrective action plan that was submitted and approved by the state. The city continues to pre-fund about $500,000 towards that liability on an annual basis. Just for some additional color on that, since 2017, when the balance was 1.1 million, that $500,000 contribution annually has resulted in the balance now being $4.4 million set aside for those retiree health care costs going forward. So there's been a lot of progress. 9% doesn't sound like it's that great of a funding percentage. However, many communities in the state of Michigan are much less than that, or even at 0% funded. So there is a lot of attention being given to this by the city, and it's an adequate spot for the city and the long-term health of the city's financial state. So that's all we had prepared for tonight. So we appreciate the partnership with the city, and we look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Thank you. Any council members have any questions? If not, may I have a motion to accept and file the audit presentation?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd, supported by Mr. Schlack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Thank you. Now we have the city administrator's report.
Sorry, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good to see everyone here. We are missing Councilman Blevins and Councilman Lally, but we understand they're both enjoying the evenings elsewhere. So just a couple updates on projects we're working on. They're wrapping up on, actually. That is the Park Street paving project is now complete. That is fully open to traffic. I remember last week, seems like deja vu, I was just here last week, but last week we were reporting that they were still waiting for some concrete to cure, and that is now done, and everything's back open, wide open now. We had some good news, and I have a drawer, and I have all my notes I want to kind of bring up, and this was one of them I had to bring up, and I forgot last week, so fortunately we're here this week. So at the end of November, DPS Director Tom Murray was elected to serve as a co-chair representing Wayne County in the Great Lakes Water Authority One Water Partnership Group for 2022. I think this is one, I don't know if I've mentioned it here a number of times. I know I did with the previous council, as we were getting back into a lot of activities. Allen Park at 28,000 members, and we're a tier 1 customer. We really have to be at that table. And I think Tom has taken that full as well. I know he's on a number of different committees with Great Lakes Water Authority, GLWA. I serve on one as well. I'm the community representative. I represent all the communities when we set the agenda. And so I think it's a great honor for Tom to be part of this. It's a great experience to be with some of these individuals. But just, him being there is great for Allen Park as well. And he'll serve with Don Rohroff from Livonia is the other. There's 2 co-chairs from Wayne County and so forth through the operation. So just want to congratulate him on that. It's a great honor to be with that group and also help represent the Allen Park's best interests as well. I also received some really good information in the mail earlier this week too from the State Tax Commission. When I see something coming from the State Tax Commission, I get a little nervous, though, I'll be honest with you. So I opened this one up, and it was actually a certificate of achievement acknowledging the City of Allen Park receiving a perfect score for the 2021 AMAR, and that is the Audit of Minimum Assessing Requirements Review. This was a 14-point, I believe it's still a 14-point review. It is pretty strenuous, and I just want to thank and congratulate Christine Coons, Tony Fiuco, and Chris Johns, our deputy assessor, for the efforts that they put in to make this happen. It is one that is not an easy task, and I do think it's great that the State Tax Commission does send out a notification, and they did send a certificate. I have given that to Chris Johns. She will see this, or I give it to Chris Coons for her to be able to post. She'll see it when she comes in. I believe it won't be until January, but I'll email her to let her know that it was on there and that we did acknowledge her this evening. And I think it's just a great honor for her and the whole team on that one. So happy to see that. The Allen Park National Honor Society's Letter to Santa program ended earlier this week, and, or actually, I apologize, ended last week. It was a great success again. We're looking forward to working with them in 2022. We had a mailbox. You might have seen the mailbox out front. It was an actual mailbox that Tony, Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Lally was able to acquire for us. It was decorated by Deb Zettel and the team from the National Honor Society, and then they wrote letters back to the children. They took those letters up to Santa, and Santa wrote letters back to the children. Forgive me on that. That was not. They're there, but what a great program, and we're looking forward to working with them and the team behind me. We have a game plan for next year to get that looking red and with some decals and so forth. So we have a game plan in place. City Hall will be closed this Thursday and Friday for Christmas Eve observation and holiday, and then also next Thursday and Friday for the New Year's holiday as well. We had an opportunity to go over to Thunderbolt Lanes. Mr. Tom Strobel, very generous, opened up the facility for the staff to come and enjoy some bowling, pizza. That we didn't have a big turnout, but I think it was just the night we selected was a Thursday night after work. It's holiday time. Everybody's trying to get home to get some last minute shopping and so forth. But those that were there definitely enjoyed themselves, and we look forward to, if the opportunity comes again, we'll be back on a different day, probably a Sunday or something like that later when it's not as hectic and we can do something. But we did post this to the Facebook page. They are going to be hosting a couple of events for the football teams that we have coming up here. So on December 30th, Thursday, December 30th, they're going to be hosting a viewing party for the Peach Bowl between Pittsburgh and Michigan State. And then on the following night, Friday, December 31st, they're going to be showing the college football playoff semifinals between Michigan and Georgia. I believe they have a big screen, and they'll be able to watch pizza, food, and all that stuff. So we did post that to the city Facebook page if anybody's interested. That is on there. Nice event, and we get to walk through. I didn't get a full tour. I think the mayor did. But he has been making some major improvements down there at the Thunderbolt and looking to draw in some more national events. I know he has the PBA coming back in, and he does have the college bowling championships, NCAA college bowling championships coming up. I believe that's in 2024. It sounds so far away, but it's really not. It's right around the block. So, as most of you know, I am a huge football fan. I am a huge Michigan football fan. And one of the things that happened during the season here is the team from Ann Arbor that I root for faces the team from East Lansing that Councilman Schlack roots for. I think there might be a couple people in the back here that may root as well. We are weeding them out slowly but surely, and they will not be here very much longer. I'm not just kidding. We have great people here, but great rivalry. So one of the things that they battle for every year is a trophy called the Paul Bunyan Trophy. It is a huge, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. And there's other trophies that they fight for. I think the Indiana, Michigan State fight for the brass spittoon. Michigan and Minnesota fight for the little brown jug. There's the Floyd of Rosedale between Iowa and I think it's Wisconsin, and then the axe between Wisconsin and Minnesota, so forth. Well, unfortunately, my team, although going to the college football playoffs December 31st against Georgia, I don't know if I mentioned that. Number 10 Michigan State's playing the day before the Peach Pit, or the Peach Bowl, not the Peach Pit, that would be 90210 days. But, yeah, they're playing in the Peach Bowl, but Michigan's playing there. But unfortunately, Michigan has not been very successful the last couple of years with the Paul Bunyan Trophy. And that has taken up residency, unfortunately, from my point of view, in East Lansing. So I have an item here I'd like to present to Councilman Schlack. It is a mini Paul Bunyan Trophy. So he can hold on to this. I will be getting this back in the fall. So, and maybe we can banter.
There you go. Thank you.
We can banter back and forth throughout the season here and next year and those following seasons we'll go back and forth. I think we need to have some sort of case that says, Paul was here, he's missing, he's taking up residency at the Schlack residency, or he's at my office and he's got to post that. So thank you for allowing me a little laughter here, but, so, and go blue. I feel like the guy winning the trophy, who's the guy that won the trophy at the Academy Awards, and he's always there, he goes, go blue at the end, so.
Thank you, Mark, I appreciate that.
Does anyone have any questions of Mark on the administrator's report? Now can I have a motion to accept?
Great year.
Accept and file.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd, second by Mr. Schlack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I have a motion to accept and file the DDA annual report.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius,
Support it.
supported by Mr. Marcos. Any questions, comments? This is an annual report that the state requires be filed and posted on their website. And hope we get a chance to go through it and see what's been accomplished. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. And now we have from our city clerk a request to adopt the 2022 regular city council meeting schedule. May I have a motion?
Motion, Mayor.
Second. By Mr. Schlack, seconded by Mr. Valerius. Please note that there will be a couple of changes to the standard second and fourth week. Mike, did you want to explain that one?
Yes. So the first meeting the first meeting in November would have been on the midterm election day. And we do use this as an absentee counting board. And generally, if you're a public body, you don't want to hold a meeting on a major election day. The second one in November was because of Thanksgiving. It fell in that week, and some people do take the whole week off. As did the second one in December. It fell right before Christmas. If you go out of town, we bumped it up. So just like this time, it's going to be back to back. So, and I would like to note that these meetings could change in some way, but action would be taken on them, and they'd all be posted publicly because the public is always invited. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion is carried. Now we come to the public comment section. We don't have much public here, but if the public who is here would like to come up and comment, please feel free. Don't see anybody running up, so we will close the public comment section. Now we come to the consent agenda, which tonight consists of claims and accounts and the payroll report. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius,
Support.
supported by Mr. Marcos. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Resolutions. First resolution is to appoint Steve Wood to the position of Building and Construction Coordinator with a starting salary of $75,000 and entitled to benefits as provided to city appointee administrative staff with an effective date of hire of February 1, 2022. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Lloyd, second by Mr. Valerius. Questions or comments? You'll get an explanation.
Yeah, just a quick explanation. This is kind of fits a need. I think the term, we've used it, I think you Councilman Lloyd mentioned it at the workshop a couple weeks ago. We're looking for utility players, and we all have to wear multiple hats in the city of Allen Park, and I actually think we all like that, because it's something different every day. We're not always doing the same stuff. So we're looking here, we need a building inspector to help Matt Baker. Matt's under water back there with the help, without having the building inspector, so he's been serving in both capacities. We budgeted for a part-time position. We're unsuccessful in finding that position to be filled at part-time. We then went to look for full-time and found we were gonna end up paying a lot more than what we had anticipated, because of what they were coming in at was already what we were gonna be at. So we started, talking a little bit more internally, and came up with the possible solution here of having bring on Steve Wood, who we are familiar with, doing a lot of our inspections already, and helping out with customer complaints, resident complaints when there's an issue or anything like that. So we've here before the body here to ask if we can go that route. Steve would come on board. He would serve as the, like a zoning inspector. So in those cases, they can do some flat work and other post holes, other type of work like that. They cannot do, he would not be able to do building inspections. Those would be still left to Matt Baker, so he would be able to still get out and take those on. Then we go over to the because how we budgeted, worked with Tom and the DPS to see if there's a way to make something work out on his side. And he is actually already having Steve do a lot of the inspection coordination for him. We're just paying through a third party. So we'll be able to take that, have a little bit of savings on that, and be able to have Steve here regularly and fill two roles, two needs with just one person there. I don't know what the percentage is gonna be, if it's gonna be 50-50. I put 50-50 here. I don't know if that's gonna be the final. It may be 40-60, 40 building. We'll make that work. But I wanted to give you kind of an idea that we're looking at, this is a split position. I always get concerned with split positions because now they're answering to two different people. I think we've worked all those issues out between Tom and Matt, and I think that if there are any issues, we'll be able to address those immediately and take care of any concerns. I don't see that to be the problem, though. There's a really good working relationship between Tom and Matt, and I think Steve will be a nice asset to the city.
Anyone have any questions?
I think it's a good program. I think we need to help. I think those are, right, you said utility needs, the city needs.
Yeah, let me kind of jump on something that Councilman Lloyd asked, be back. Would this allow us to move forth with the home sale inspection program? And this would. This will allow that to be able to move forward. We've been lacking that person to be able to move forward with those items, so this will be that.
That's
step.
a really key thing for maintaining property values, maintaining the general, you know.
We agree wholeheartedly, yeah.
If there's no further questions, may I have the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Yes, carried. Resolution number 2.
Real quick, Mr. Wood is here. I have him stick around just in case you want to meet
yes.
him after the meeting. I believe he's wearing the correct hat this evening, but typically.
That's how I knew him, because that's how you
Typically-
describe him. The guy's usually
Yeah,
got a Michigan hat on. It's like,
well,
oh, okay.
Typically, he does not have a Michigan hat on. Typically, he has a Michigan State hat on.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yes,
Disappointed in that.
I hope he didn't say the words he felt threatened or anything like that.
Second resolution to approve waiving the city bid process as there is no economic benefit to rebid the water main replacement contract and authorize the city to accept the offer from Brico Excavating Company to extend their 2021 contract to the 2022 construction season. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius,
Support it.
supported by Mr. Marcos. Questions?
This one here is an extension of the water main contractor, Brico Excavating Company. We've used them, obviously, this past year. From this was bid out in early 2021 contract through Raines Company. Very happy with their quality of work. They clean up everything, anything from that aspect, not have any issue. It does lock them in to be lock them in with us for the next year, which I think is a concern. If we go out to bid, would they be able to guarantee us that workload? Through this, we'll be able to have that locked in. As we put in here, there was one caveat, with the possibility that material costs could increase or decrease. Brico would like the city to address this if it becomes a concern. Both the city administration, myself, Tom, and Amanda, and then also with Sohail from CE Raines, feel that's a reasonable request, given the volatility of those prices. They're talking pipe. We're seeing, I think Tom mentioned in the back, 8 to 15% increase per month. So this is something that we can would be able to come back and look at that, have administration look at it, come back to council if there's any issue.
Any questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Resolution 3, to approve waiving the city bid process, as there is no economic benefit, to rebid the street sectioning program contract and utility repair program contract, and authorize the city to accept the offer from Savone Cement to extend their 2021 contract to the 2022 construction season. May I have a motion?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd,
Second.
second by Mr. Valerius.
Thank you again. This is a similar request to the previous request that Rico sent over, very similar in the aspect of quality. They're looking for if there's any increase of those material costs, but the labor costs would be locked in from that. Again, we feel that's reasonable. If there is an issue, we'll be back here. So this takes out, if this one's approved, that takes 2/3 of your contracts that you had for 2021. We have a meeting early January. We'll probably be back likely with the third one at that point in time for an extension. Again, been very happy with Savone. The quality of work is top notch, and he's been with us for a number of years through the bidding process. I started working with him through the block grant program, and I think that was probably one of his first early on projects that he did, bigger than just some of his small commercial work and his residential work. And he's done a bang-up job with it for the city of Allen Park, and been very, very happy. Again, I mentioned in here, if we've had any issues, he's been out there, he'll address them himself as well. I think that's one thing I can say about Mario is he does not shy away from talking to that resident, making sure he's corrected the problem and is able to move on, and that's very appreciative from the administration side, because we don't want to have to, be involved if we don't need to, and he's been able to resolve them for us. And as well as Steve helping out too. I would throw Steve in there for a bit.
Mario, I think, is a resident also.
He is. He is over on. He's on Promenade. That is in the neighborhood where I always go to call, Pleasure Street as well, as opposed to Pleasant Street for whatever reason, so. I'm changing the map names.
Just to make a point that Tom and Ohio each made back there is that the labor price is staying the same, which those across almost everything are going up. So this is probably a significant savings for the residents, along with the $5,000 to $6,000 that would go with a bid, going through that bid process.
Correct.
So quite possible that we could go through a bid process, get the lowest bid from Savone, but that would be higher than the 2021 contract.
Correct.
And we've had that happen before, so.
We have.
Any other questions, comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Resolution 4. Resolution for concurrence with the city administrator on the letter of understanding between the city of Allen Park and the Allen Park Police Officers Association, APPOA, in regards to lateral transfers.
I apologize. I usually give
Well,
the department heads a hard time because.
Let me get a motion first.
Okay.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Marco, second by Mr. Schlack. Now,
I usually give the department heads a hard time for staying up here the entire meeting, so I apologize. This one here is, we're looking for just concurrence for a letter of understanding with the APPOA, the Police Officers Association. As we're trying to be competitive with our neighboring communities, because it's a battle out there. Chief is trying everything he can to get the recruits to come in. We try to think we have competitive packages, but there's certain communities we just can't compete against. It's nearly impossible. I'm not too sure how they're going to be able to sustain the future, but that's up to their department and so forth. We'll do everything we can here, and this was one of the requests that came through Chief Egan. And so we were looking at the lateral pay as an option to bring in some experienced officers. One of the things we're going to be missing here shortly is we're going to lose a lot of experienced officers. And so you're trying to help balance that out a little bit and bring in some experienced officers. Unfortunately, they're already making decent wages where they're at, but we were able to maybe entice them to come over for various reasons. Maybe it's we still offer a pension. Maybe it's a health care that we offer is still a little bit better than the community they're with. Unfortunately, it's usually the pay they'd have to start off the bottom rung, and that's where it discouraged them from going there. So Chief asked if we could look into a couple different options, and so we were looking at our neighboring communities, and one township to the south has a two-year step. So we went one more above that, and just trying to make sure we're gonna remain competitive. It's just a tough world. I think I was talking to Councilman Lloyd about the teachers. You guys see this quite often, and districts that are not the most popular district for in the areas are the ones paying huge amounts of money to try to draw talent in, and same thing here. So we would be looking at what they would do is they would slide in based on their year's experience, either at, not at the new hire, they'd either slide into 1 year, the 2 year, the 3 year level. But the 3 year level is the max. I think that was the question I talked to Mayor McLeod about. She says, is there a matrix on how this works? And based on how many years of experience they have outside, he said, well, the max they get is 3 years. And that'll slide them in as the new, into that middle range, maybe a little bit up to the upper middle range of that. And hopefully we can entice them to come here. And I think the chief's philosophy is once we get them here, we just got to get them in the door. And we have been able to snag a few so far, and some good officers so far. So we're hoping this will be another catalyst to help that. And we're still looking at some other options out there. I think there's going to have to be some discussion coming back here to the council, and that, you know, with the new hires, whether it's, you know, uniforms up front or, you know, bonus pay, I don't, or a signing bonus, I don't know what they all are yet. But I think we have to get creative if we're going to continue to draw in the younger officers that are coming right out of the academy, and kind of a balanced act here.
I think that having the opportunity to work with the Police and Fire Commission for 2 years, I get to see close up how hard it is to retain new hires and how do you get them in here. You know, every meeting that we had, it was new hires. How many can we get? How many? We couldn't keep up. We couldn't keep up with it. We couldn't keep up with the other cities. And I understand, and this is from, you know, for, as I'm concerned, whatever it takes. And I know we're short, what, 5 officers now? 4? Puts a lot of stress on everybody else.
Absolutely.
And, you know, what do we need to do to get quality officers?
You know, I mentioned here that we used to draw 100 to 200 applicants. Let me, real quick, Chief, how many were we? 250? 350?
Wow, in the past?
Yeah, for you, how many were in your?
Oh, hundreds, previous.
Jeff, about the same?
400 or 500, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, just now you're getting, I put 5 to 10. That's being generous. It's more like 3 to 4. It's, you know, 3 to 4 if you're lucky. And I think that's the same thing with the teaching field. And it's these fields that we really need to make sure we're drawing people into, and we're just not getting people to want to go into those fields. And something's gonna have to give shortly.
Mayor, is this, and this thought just occurred to me, sorry I didn't answer earlier, is this gonna go retroactively to some of the new hires that we just had in the last few? Because I think that the last hire that we had a number of years of service, and then I think even a few hires back, a few of them have had previous service other places.
Yeah, I have it just being, you know, effective now,
Yeah.
but I'm open to that as well. This is still has to be, you know, it's before you tonight. The APPOA still has to go through and do a vote on it as well. But I would be open-minded to going back a period of time. I don't know how far back, you know.
Right.
It's still got to work financially, so I got to work with the finance director.
Draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, it has to be, you know, a consideration. You typically letters of understanding do not come before the mayor and council for a vote like this. So the word I used in this was concurrence. I'm just looking to make sure you're aware of what I'm doing and you are okay with that. The LOU will still be signed by myself and Amanda with the chief's involvement and the HR involvement. But just making sure we're heading down the path that you're looking for and that you've heard as well.
Any other questions? If not, call a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now we come to the council comments. Let's see if I can keep it straight tonight. Mr. Valerius.
All right. Well, a lot of the stuff I had written, because I thought I didn't know we were meeting before Christmas, so I didn't have to write anything new. I'd like to welcome and thank Steve Wood for coming on board. I think it's going to work out great for both departments, having you here with your experience and everything else, including helping out Matt Baker and inspection-wise and for the city in general. Birthdays to Madam Mayor, correct?
Yep.
Gary, and also Charles, who's not here today, but happy birthday to all of you. Wanted to mention, I talked with Chief Egan about they're having a fundraiser tomorrow for Mimi's Mission to raise money for people with autism. Chief contacted me about getting tossed into Clink to raise some money. Unfortunately, I had plans, and I told him I don't think I would probably wind up staying there because I don't think I'd raise that much money to have anyone bail me out of the Clink. But that's tomorrow from 6 to 9. And I believe there's information that's posted on the city website regarding that fundraiser as well. Let's see, I'm very thankful, my heart, if I wasn't a teacher, I'd probably be in law enforcement. So I'm extremely thankful for the passing of the resolution for lateral pay. It's a struggle, just like in education, of finding candidates and qualified people, and also bringing experienced people into the city. I think this is a step forward in regards to, offering incentive for those police officers that would love to be able to come and work in Allen Park from where they're currently at. So I'm happy to vote on that resolution this evening. What else I got? I did deliver 130 Christmas cards to Maple Heights on Monday morning. They are opening their dining room back up, I believe, on Thursday, just in time for the holidays. So I did talk with the director, and she's planning on, as they come down for their dinner that day, they're going to be handing out the cards that my students made. So I was happy for that. I made probably 40 cards. I had to kind of supplement. The kids came out like gangbusters, but then they all of a sudden were like, eh. So I supplemented a little bit. But and then final note, I just wanted to my fellow council members, mayor, all of the department heads, the city clerk, city administrator, every city employee. I want to wish your families and everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up here for 2022. And just 2 quotes, and then I'm done. One quote from Mother Teresa. It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. And that was one of the quotes I put on my classroom whiteboard last week. It was a Christmas theme, but it was all about giving and receiving. And then the final quote I have is from Pope Francis. It says, "God never gives someone a gift they are not capable of receiving. If he gives us the gift of Christmas, it is because we all have the ability to understand and receive it." So again, I want to wish everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing everyone in 2022. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Schlack.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I want to start by saying thank you to Plante Moran and their work on our annual audit, and to those companies that wish to extend their contract with us that save us money. I'm sure makes our financial director certainly happy, and the rest of our citizens. I want to thank Mark for finally wedging from the Paul Bunyan, and also to tell our newest employee, come February, Steve Wood, congratulations, and don't listen to them, wear the other hat. I definitely encourage you to come check this out. It's kind of cool. And I want to definitely say that one of my priorities on city council has always been to promote whole public safety. And what we did last year with the charter amendment was a great first step with putting it in our charter. But I think with this understanding that we're going to do laterals is a second step to that. There's a lot more that we can be done, so I'm happy that Mark mentioned that there are things that we can do and we have to continue to do. And it takes the community to also get involved with that process. It's my true belief that if a community rallies around a police department, works with the police department, there won't be the fear that the police department's the bad guy. So I thank you to Chief Egan and the whole police department and continue doing the great work that you do and keep our community safe. I also want to really say, finally, on behalf of my family and extend the merriest wishes to everyone and Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, especially to those in the police department, fire department, and the Department of Public Service that will be working when we'll all be enjoying the holiday, probably most likely inside, with the exception of maybe Councilman Valaris that loves snow, and if he gets a chance to get snow, he'll go out and play there like a little Charlie Brown. I also want to thank the residents and organizations who take their time to volunteer and put their talent towards those less fortunate. These are the random acts that really make our community strong. It really shines through and makes us better Allen Parkers for that. And thank you tremendously for those generous contributions. Again, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I look forward to seeing everyone in the new year, and hopefully it'll be a much better year than this year, because I always look forward to better, bigger things. And with that, I yield my time.
Thank you. Councilman Marcus.
Thank you. First, again, welcome, Steve. Sorry about the hat.
I promise next time I come.
Okay, because when I started here, I was kind of worried when I walked in and I saw blue stuff all over the place. And I am green. Sorry, I was waiting to commit. I didn't want to get beat up by anybody out there, so. I'm glad I got somebody at my side over here to help. So, yeah, I went to school at LCC, so law enforcement, so I appreciate the green guys. And who won this year, right? Right? But other than that, I just wanted to say, everybody have a great holiday, a safe holiday. I believe the bed and breakfast is open for business, so we got to be careful there. Also, my message this week, last week, always will be, encourage the citizens of the city to please come to these meetings, please get involved. I understand that now it's the holidays are over, hopefully you'll have some more time. We'd like to see some people here, really need your input, and I will keep saying it every week until we get these seats filled. So again, everyone have a great holiday and safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Lloyd.
So first off, I'd like to extend a big thank you and congratulations to Amanda Wirtz for completing this audit. I know that that is a Herculean task, and so I'm sure you are feeling like, you know, a little bit of the stress off your shoulders now that that's done with. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And that one of the very, you know, to maybe an outside perspective, mundane, some may say boring, maybe not to you, but something that is very, very essential to this body, but also to the residents of Allen Park, making sure that we are in good financial health, because unfortunately, in the past, we have found ourselves not so. Really very much appreciate all your efforts to getting that done, so thank you. And again, to Mr. Wood, appreciate you. I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm looking forward to having you on the team and looking at the good work you'll do for the citizens. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. And you know, just to amplify Councilman Marcos's statements there, government and democracy only works when people participate. It comes from the Greek phrase demos kratia, power to the people. So it's interesting. You can always see when the quarter is ending, we have a lot of high schoolers in the audience because they have to get their one in before the card marking is done. And so we had a big rush, and then so hopefully like for some of those young people, it gets that spark to want to participate into local politics, because these are the decisions that affect everybody's life. So happy holidays, happy, safe, and look forward to seeing you all in the New Year's.
Thank you. Mike.
Just want to say another great audit. I think that reflects greatly on our administration and our finance departments, because it was about 10 years ago we were circling the drain almost literally. I mean, I watched this city go from double AAA bond grading down to junk bond status in no time, and it's taken us time, but we are, what, double A now?
A minus.
Hey, that's still better than junk bond status. now we're back on the way back up. But, I do want to take this opportunity, to point out the police and fire. Just always remember while we're enjoying dinner and we're sleeping on Christmas or passed out on New Year's Eve, that they're there in case anything happens to us. Now, a lot of people work those days, but our police and fire belong to us. That is where your direct tax money goes to. So I'm not putting plugs for them, but I really do appreciate living in Allen Park and in enjoying the police and fire departments that we do have. So with that, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. God bless you, and thanks for coming out today.
Thank you, Mike. I get stuck with just regurgitating everything the council member said, so I won't do that. Do want to express my appreciation for every employee in this city and our department heads. The key to what is happening in this city is having the right people in the right positions. And we are there, and we continue to be there, and we continue to ensure that we are doing that. A prime example is adding somebody like Mr. Wood to our roles. The efforts that Chief Egan is making to bring in law enforcement, the new programs that we are providing our residents to help them and to improve the already good relationships that our residents have with our police and, of course, our fire. Mike mentioned the police and fire and those who work on the holidays, and I don't want to forget the DPS, who someone else had mentioned, but when that water main breaks, it doesn't care whether it's Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve or Christmas Day. You're going to find somebody out there in the cold in the trenches, and keep them in your prayers when you see them, because accidents, no matter the precautions, do occur. And I know that our departed councilwoman would tell you about the construction workers that we all need to be mindful of as we're flying down the highway, and consider them and reduce that speed. It's not Thanksgiving, but I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be here with my fellow council members. This is an excellent team. You all bring something different to the table, and I can't tell you how much you're appreciated. And to borrow from a phrase that Charles uses, there's a lot of positives going on in this city and in our community. And I hope that we continue those positives. I know that everyone's working to make this a better place. We're being creative. We're doing everything focused on our residents and the community. And it's just a pleasure being here. Wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius. Second by Mr. Marcos. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:50.